Oh, God, I'm a dirty, dirty whore.
Fuck America!
Scuzz TV!
Scuzz TV! Yeah! Fuck yeah!
It's got a similar vibe, definitely. I mean, it's very open, you know. Everybody's pretty jazzed to be here. Well, with the exception, you know, the only difference is, you know, I mean, downloads one day, you know. I mean, we're out here for the entire tour, so it's pretty cool. You get to know each other a little easier, a little quicker. It's just a great vibe.
America's completely different. We don't really roll with those kind of festivals yet, so it's really no comparison, honestly. We're still getting our feet with how to roll with festivals correctly. So they have a little bit more figured out, more people trying to get it all done at once, and we're just starting now to get into this festival mode. So still like the Europe festivals.
Just playing, period, you know, is you know, blessing itself, and the festival thing is, you know, we're only playing like an hour. There's so many bands to fit in, but honestly, you know, our show is so intense still, you know, that mostly I haven't really checked out any bands so far, but it's a killer package, and it's selling really well, and it's just you know, just great to be playing live again with Slipknot.
Basically, Slipknot fans are Slipknot fans. We have our own culture. It doesn't matter if we're in Japan or Australia. The color of skin may be different, the language may be different, the money may be different, but the love for the music and what we do is the same. And that's just really what we do, is our community of people.
Yeah, exactly. It's no different when we could play a show in Poland, we could play a show in Canada. Same thing, you know. I mean, you get the same energy. That's what's kind of interesting to see as you travel the world, and you know, you learn a lot about different cultures. There are universal constants in humanity. You know, people at their core just are certain things, like certain things. They respond in the same way. Radically different cultures growing up in totally different, separate, you know, parts of the world still have those same things that they feel and the same things that move them.
We do whatever we want. We go check out shows. We go to Best Buy. We go to hotels. We sleep until showtime. We do all kinds of weird stuff. It just depends on the day and the city and what's there to do. But mainly we just rest, eat, and just try to prepare for what we do best, and that's play at night. To be honest, man, you know, we don't ever get caught up in that political bullshit. We're not on the show, we don't care. I mean, I'll just be totally honest with you. We're too busy doing what we're doing to care who's going to be on it next year. We do like the tour. We do want it to be successful. We'd like to see it go on, but if we're not on it,
I'd make it a little bit more diverse, you know, like, you know, just some different type of music, you know, but still fitting in with the continuity of still extreme, you know.
We get done with an album cycle, we need well-needed rest, and I think once boredom kicks in, we all start steering about, you know, we just get crazy and we just all start communicating. And, you know, we're a multi-million dollar business, not that that matters, but we're always on the phone knowing what our future is, and we all come together when it's time. But I think a lot of people like to think that it's unusual that we take a lot of time off, like we're breaking up or whatever, but, you know, we always kind of dare people to do what we do. We need a spiritual, mental, and physical time off in between, because we really need to rebuild and get that fire back to really want to get back out here and be as brutal as we are. So it's not any one person, it's always a collective feeling we can feel within ourselves. And, you know, it's usually a year and a half to 2.5. We don't really like taking 2.5 years off, but it just worked out this way this time.
It was pretty sweet. I mean, we had people bringing in ideas, that had never really, you know, had maybe held back a little bit before. You know, I know me personally, I brought a couple of whole songs to the mix that I just never would have had the courage to do before. And you know, everybody just had their 2 cents, and we just kind of put it together like that. You know, there's a main core of people who kind of get the ball rolling when it comes to stuff like that. But once it's kind of fleshed out and framed up, you know, that's when we all kind of contribute. So the songwriting process is very much all of us.
This is the first time that me and Jim actually wrote together, and that was really cool. But, you know, Jim really contributed a lot to this record. Everyone, you know, really, I think, you know, we wrote a lot in the studio this time. We had, usually when we demo like 14 songs, like we only demoed like 7, and the rest we all collaborated in the studio with, and really built the song in the studio this time, you know, instead of like, okay, this is the way it is, go in, just record it.
With us, it's always one thing. There's always songs that come about, and it's never really who writes them or what's going on. But everyone kind of puts their layer on it. And, you know, only the best stuff for the band can make it. It's just the way it is. We don't really get caught up in too much of the drama. It's just whatever's best for the band, you know what I mean? We've been doing this a while now. There's not one song that's because of just one person. This is Slipknot. I mean, you know, there might have been days where we wondered about that kind of stuff and were confused sometimes, but in reality, this is a special band. It takes all 9 guys to give their love, you know, basically onto their stamp. Otherwise, it's just, you know, it's too hard.
It's very interesting to hear everyone's feedback about it. For me, when I listen to it, I feel the maturity of the songwriting, the capturing where we are now, you know, because I think on like our older albums, the songs were there, but they were caught up in so much chaos, you know. There was no control, and with this, it's controlled chaos.
Everything we do is chaotic, you know, and it's not like, you know, we get spread out sometimes, and we all get kind of caught up in our own shit that we do, so, you know, it's not like we're hanging out with each other every day of every minute, you know what I mean? So you've got that chaos, you know, on top of, you know, I got these songs, and then there's these songs and all that, so it takes us a while to get everything going and, you know, and find the right chapter, if we can even find the right book, but then it all comes together, and I think that's part of what makes us what we are, you know?
It's only what comes out, you know, we don't plan anything, things happen. I mean, if you heard a demo of any of the songs on the record, the initial ideas, the final product is so radically different. We don't have discussions about what we're going to try to pursue, what we would like to achieve. I know I get asked that every single day by the press. I'm like, music is art, it comes out, you know what I mean? Like, if you think about it too much, and it's bullshit and it's contrived, you know, I think you can hear that what we do is very spontaneous.
It's very much like coming home, man. It felt really good, and you know, just you know, seeing how everybody has changed as people, and embracing that change, and really just trying to let go of the energy that you've treated each other with in the past. You know, I mean, that's really been the one obstacle that has held Slipknot back, and now that we're starting to grow and understand that we have changed, the sky's the limit for us.
Everybody, bring it in! All the fucking matters! Everyone in this goddamn circle tonight! Fuck Tampa on 3! 1, 2, 3! Fuck Tampa!
Without Slipknot, there wouldn't be other avenues for people to do. I mean, there's so much all of us get to do because, you know, we've worked so hard in this band, but this band is our true love, and we all take it very seriously.
You know, over the years, I've watched how we all act toward each other. You know, there's a definite tension that's there. I mean, we love each other, but there's a tension there that's palpable. I mean, it's very, very, you can feel it when you walk into a room, let's put it that way. And it's, that was something that I really wanted to flesh out and say. And I'd actually started, I wrote the lyrics for that on the Stone Sour tour, which is, you know, what Chris was referring to. And when I got the music for Psychosocial, it just fit. I mean, everything about it fit. And it was kind of my love song to the band, and basically saying, I understand where we come from, I understand where we're going, this is how we're going to get through it, basically. And it's important for me, for my bros to understand that I get it.
I live Slipknot, you know, it's like, I don't care if it's that song or another fucking song, it's all what we do. I don't even know what psychosocial means, but I'm gonna get on stage and kill myself every night before it. So I don't know if it's just like where our mindset is.
Well, it's where Corey's mindset is. That's one thing people need to understand is the band doesn't sit around and write the words. Corey comes up with the lyrics. So when people hear things, they try to attribute. We have 9 radically different personalities in the band. We are a unit. We are so fucking far apart in terms of who we are as people. We always have been. The press always tried to paint it as like we're this, sort of hive mind, whatever. When we get together and focus on something, we're focused on it and you can't fuck with us. We might as well be one. But as soon as that's, away, we are very, very different people. So Corey's motivations for lyrics on something can't necessarily be attributed to me or anybody else. Those are for Corey. I've also said in the past, though, Corey's not saying something I disagree with or anyone else disagrees with, because if he did, then we would have to talk about that. It can't be just, his own, opinions about everything. But he has this uncanny way of actually saying a lot of the things that I think anyway. And, and same with this record, especially, All Hope Is Gone. I'm like, God, that sounds like I would have written it. I'm like, perfect. As soon as I heard it, I was immediately impressed. But that's, so when it comes to lyrics, song titles, things like, we let Corey do that. And that's where he contributes, in addition to obviously all of his vocal melodies and shit.
I'm gonna tell you how he does things. It's the craziest thing. Like, he'll be on the road with Stone Sour writing Slipknot lyrics. He'll be in his car writing lyrics. He'll sit down at practice, go away, sit next to the wall by himself, and write out a whole fucking song. Like, the guy is crazy, like, with it, you know what I mean? And that just shows how hard he works lyrically. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like something he just sits down and opens a dictionary and tries to find cool words or something like that. Like, even though he is the singer in my band, like, I just had to say that to the masses that, it's incredible how he finds his ideas and thoughts about things to write about. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes and he's got 2 songs written. Sometimes he could lay in his bunk for days and, work on stuff, but it's really cool, like, how he does that.
We try to evolve, and I think we all do that. Just because you get older, you do that, and you learn things. You're always learning something, and the type of musicians that we are, we're trying to push what we do as musicians to another level. And when you do that, sometimes you take steps backwards to take steps forwards, and that's why I like to look at this album as kind of an evolution on the Iowa album, you know what I mean? And maybe the next album we do will be an evolution of the Subliminal Verses. But you can definitely see where, like Joey's talking about pulling back with Korn and all that stuff, there's definitely elements to that on this record.
We've been ahead of our time for a very long time, and, there's a Chinese proverb that says, before one looks brilliant, one must look foolish. And to the world, we were, the crazy cartoon band. But to our fans who always knew, there was a lot of artistic vision, there was a lot of heart, there was a lot of intelligence. And now it seems like the world is kind of catching up and really seeing that, yes, we have a lot of content. And that which just makes us a three-hit punch, basically. And, as far as like lyrically goes, I agree. I feel like this is the best writing I've ever done. And, to be able to say exactly what you want to say, I mean, that's the writer's dream. And for me, that started 1.5 years ago, and I was able to really kind of punch in what I wanted to say.
We came off a really crazy album cycle off of Iowa, where basically the world was just in a weird place. So we had a lot of rebuilding to do for Volume 3, and we wanted to keep things down where we're so used to spending lots of money on the tours, on the stage, and we decided to rebuild our family. So this record was a lot easier because all the rebuilding had already been done. The sacrifice had already been done. and it felt really good. There wasn't, the only real resistance we had this record cycle was just really fighting for the songs, the parts, and all of that, just making it the best we could. But that's something we got to do anyway, for ourselves and for our fans. So this record was relatively easy, and it was an honor to be able to record in Iowa finally, to prove that you can be an A+ band, a platinum band, and record in your own city if you want to. We're trying to break that kind of mold for a long time, to be able to be at home around the people that we love in the comfort zone and not still have to pay our mortgage out of town. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. So that was really nice.
In Iowa, we went heavier. Volume 3, we came out with really different avenues and different types of textures, that we've never really experimented before. And this one is kind of like a mix of Iowa and Subliminal.
It's an exciting time.
Yeah.
When we finally get into the studio, after maybe some pre-production or getting together, and listening to the skeletons of the songs and starting to mix things up. It's awesome because, everybody's such a great musician, and, now we're at the point, like Corey said before, where it's easier to bring ideas in and have those be presented to everybody, and instead of just the militant way that we used to do things, so, which in the future is going to make Slipknot even more exciting.
Yeah. We're all in a very good spot right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's very open. A lot of the negativity that we had, gone away, and has been replaced with a really solid sense of camaraderie and family. And I think we're more dangerous now than we ever have.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
Bullshit aside, it found us, and like all good art, if you're giving yourself to art, you can do it unselfishly. You know what I mean? That found us, and we took that on, and we made it what we are. But it found us, or we found it, whatever. But that's basically what it is. There was no song called All Hope, is gone first, or it all just started building. But that's the beauty of getting back together, finding these jewels that just everyone works connecting, and that's a real great.
Well, it was one of the last songs we wrote, and we tracked drums, guitars, bass, whatever, and then vocals come in later. So I'd already, worked on it, tracked it, whatever. Corey comes in the next day and does the vocals. I pop in the next day and get a burn of the CD and listen to it on the way home. And I'm immediately driving on the highway, sending texts to my manager, going, "Dude, we have to call a record that. That's perfect." Apparently, other people also did the same when they heard it. We never had like a band discussion, but it trickled in from enough different people when they heard that fucking, there you go. So that was the only discussion we had. I'm like, dude, it's got to be called this. Everybody else did the same thing, and then like 2 weeks later, I hear our record's being called All Hope Is Gone. I'm like, perfect. We didn't have to have a formal meeting. We just collectively agreed.
He's right, because usually there's some fucking long list of about every fucking weird thing you could ever imagine, and you wait forever to find something that you feel.
And this just fucking happened.
This just happened, and it was like so perfect for us, because we can just get on with it. We can get on with it.
Our main mindset has always been, if we don't dig it, nobody's going to hear it. We have to be a fan of the music first. And I think that's where a lot of bands fail, because they worry about what the fans are going to think. They worry about if it's going to get on radio and stuff like that. It's sad, man. People didn't worry about that in the past. True music comes from the heart. It always has been. It doesn't come from a checkbook. And we just try to continue that tradition.
I will remember before I forget.
Can I play with?
I'm sorry, I was thinking about my wife.
So was I.
This is DJ Starscream, aka Sid Wilson from the world famous Slipknot. Check out the Mayhem Rockstar Tour exclusively on Scuzz TV.